All right, good afternoon and welcome to the Hamilton Police Service. My name is Inspector Ben Thibodeau from the Investigative Services Division, and we're here to provide an update on the Shalini Singh case. On December 10, 2024, Shalini's family members reported her missing to the Hamilton Police Service. Her family had not heard from her in several days and were concerned for her well-being. Family and friends last spoke to Shalini at 7:10 p.m. on December 4, 2024. At this point, we believe Shalini is a victim of foul play. Over the past few weeks, investigators have been planning and coordinating a systematic search of the Glenbrook Landfill site. Work began on February 24th and is expected to continue for several weeks. This is the first time Hamilton Police have conducted a landfill search. At this time, I would like to introduce Acting Detective Sergeant Daryl Reed to provide more detailed information about the search for Shalini. Detective Sergeant Reed.
Thank you. The initial information gathered during this investigation has caused growing concerns for Shalini's well-being. In the beginning, Shalini was reported missing alongside her common-law boyfriend, but he was later located on December the 11th after he attended a family member's residence outside of Hamilton. He is not cooperating with the police investigation, and he has provided no information that has assisted us in locating Shalini. At the time of her disappearance, Shalini was living with her boyfriend in a downtown Hamilton apartment building. Despite several searches of that building, we have not located any evidence that's going to assist in locating Shalini. Our investigators have obtained hundreds of hours of video footage from that building and to follow Shalini and her boyfriend in her movements around the building before and after her disappearance. There is no video that we have located at this time that shows Shalini leaving her building after December the 4th. We are investigating the possibility that Shalini was killed in her apartment and removed from the building through the building's garbage disposal system. Early in the investigation, detectives learned that some of the garbage from the apartment building might still be located at the Kenora waste transfer site in the east end of our city. On December 15th, investigators secured and searched the waste located at that transfer location. The majority of the waste, however, from that apartment building had already been moved to the Glenbrook landfill site. This is a difficult time for Shalini's family and friends, and they deserve to know what happened to her. We are determined to provide them with those answers. As the inspector mentioned, work began yesterday and is expected to continue for several weeks at the landfill site. There will be a large police presence in the area, but traffic will not be affected at this time. We encourage anyone with information about Shalini's whereabouts and her disappearance to come forward and contact us. Having said that, I would be happy to take a few questions at this time.
Is the boyfriend considered a suspect at this time?
So at this time, we're not going to disclose his status in the case or his identity. In prolonged investigations like this, that status can change from time to time in both directions, and I'm not prepared to label him as a certain classification at this
He's
time.
not a person of interest or any particular, you're not disclosing that, correct?
Not disclosing that. All I can say is we're just looking into his involvement and possible involvement in her disappearance.
Was he known to police before Shalini's disappearance?
Yes.
Is there video of her entering the apartment, and when was that?
So we last see her entering the apartment 2 days earlier on December the 2nd, but from other evidence we've located, we can confirm that she is alive and well on December 4th around 7:10 in the evening.
Can you disclose the location of the apartment and whether or not the boyfriend still lives there?
So he does not live there still, but we are not disclosing the address at this time. Until we learn more about this disappearance, that is still her residence, and we typically won't disclose the address of our victims.
Tell us about the layout of the apartment. Is there a garbage chute in the hallway, or is it, directly accessible within the unit itself?
Yeah, so this is a large downtown apartment building. There's a garbage chute located on every floor, but you do need to exit the apartment to reach that garbage chute area.
Were any calls made to police or reports filed from Shalini or her boyfriend about any domestic disputes leading up to her disappearance?
No.
Are there cameras in the hallway of the building that might show somebody going to the garbage?
So there are cameras throughout the building. We have reviewed, there's upwards of 40 cameras through this large complex. To protect the integrity investigation, I'm not going to get into the specifics of each of the cameras, other than say we've seized all of them and have reviewed all of them.
Detective, can you speak a little bit about the time to search? You've shown us the aerial footage. How many officers, how long spent, what's the status of that, please?
Yeah, so this is a very large search. As the inspector said, this is the first time Hamilton Police have undertaken a task such as this. There will be anywhere between 15 and 20 officers there each day of the week, Monday to Friday. We're doing a systematic search of the area that we know the waste was disposed of from this location, from the apartment building. And we've estimated it may take several weeks, up to 6 weeks possibly, to complete the search.
What's the size of the area?
Approximately 80 meters by 100 meters in dimension. We're waiting to see how deep we have to go, possibly a couple meters deep as well.
How did you arrive at the belief that she was disposed of through the garbage chute? You know, I know you had mentioned you don't want to disclose too much of information related to cameras in the building, but you know, if there's a chute in the hallway and there's a camera in the hallway, you know, is that something that you guys saw? You know, a bag being put down through the chute?
Yeah, I'm not going to get into the specifics of what we've located so far, other than to say that early on we identified this as one of the possible avenues that we needed to investigate. It took time for us to go through the other parts of our investigation and rule out other possibilities, and we've come back to this as a focus now, that this is a possible way in which she was disposed of.
In December, the boyfriend was also reported missing. How long was he missing for, and who reported him missing?
So both Shalini and her boyfriend were jointly reported missing on the 10th of December. Her boyfriend showed up at the family's residence the following evening, or following afternoon, outside of Hamilton. Police from our service went there and confirmed that he was alive and well and was no longer needed to be searched for. But from that point forward, we've had no cooperation from him.
Can I just clarify, you answered one of the journalists that the person was known, the boyfriend was known to police. Did the boyfriend have a criminal record?
That I can't get into, but he was known to police from previous incidents.
Are there any dogs or any other experts involved in the search?
No, at this point, the search will be done physically by police officers. You can imagine in a landfill site, there's lots of hazards that we have to deal with there, and I'm not sure it would be appropriate to take a dog into that area with the amount of sharps and stuff that could be there.
We see them in the video, they're kind of hacking away. What's the strategy here? You know, are they combing through literally every piece of garbage? What are you looking for?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to be opening every bag and searching through everything that's located in that target zone, and the goal of this is to locate Shalini and any other evidence to her disappearance.
Why in that specific target zone? You know, I know you mentioned 80 by 100 meters or whatever. Why there specifically? Is that where, you know, the garbage that bin tracking is supposed to end up? Is it organized like that at the landfill?
Yeah, so that's a good question. In this particular landfill, everything is GPS marked. So every truckload of waste that shows up at the landfill is marked by truck number, and the GPS marks where they dump that, and then the waste is spread out by the machines on site. So based on our target week of her disappearance, we know from the GPS what area to look in.
In the news release today, it said that the waste originally went to a different site and then was transferred to here. So you searched that site in December. Why has it taken this many weeks to now search this site?
So as I mentioned, we had so much surveillance video that we had to go through for this investigation. When we learned that some of the waste might still be at the Kenora Waste Transfer, we preemptively secured that site to try to get to that waste as quickly as possible. We had not yet completed all of that video review and all of the other investigative steps necessary. So we got to Kenora really quickly just to stop that garbage from going to the landfill. When we discovered that the vast majority of waste had already been moved out to landfill, and we had other investigative leads, more video that we had to go through, and then just the planning for doing this landfill search, we had to consult with many agencies about how to properly and effectively do the search.
So you said that the boyfriend's not living at that apartment where this happened, but he was living there before December 10th?
He was, yes.
And is there a reason to know why he's no longer living there?
One of the main reasons it was Shalini's apartment. So when she went missing, she legally has control of the apartment, and so property management would only let her back into the unit.
You had said earlier that Shalini and her boyfriend were reported missing on a specific date, and then 2 days later, the boyfriend appeared at the family house. Is that his family or her family's house that he arrived at?
He attended his own family's residence.
And you had said earlier, specifically asking again, who had reported the two of them missing? Was it his family, her family? Was it friends of the two of them?
From my understanding, the initial concern came from Shalini's parents. They had not heard from their daughter in a number of days, and they went looking for her. They initiated the call to the police, but some of those initial reports of the boyfriend missing involved his family as well.
Could you just restate when the search began, please? The date of the search?
It began yesterday morning, and this footage was taken earlier today from the landfill site.
Any idea how much garbage is out there?
In terms of actual volume, I don't know. We'll have to evaluate how the initial search site goes, and then potentially increase or decrease the site from that point.
You said the boyfriend was located at a family home outside of Hamilton. Where outside?
I guess the most I would say at that point is in the Halton region, so just outside of Hamilton. But I don't want to get into more specifics about his family at this time.
Okay. Do you guys work with any other agencies in the search beyond the police?
So the search itself is going to be conducted by Hamilton police officers. We are in consultation with some people from the Center of Forensic Science and the coroner's office, just so that is put into motion if need be. But the actual physical searching will be done by Hamilton police officers.
The search itself is being conducted by your colleagues within Hamilton Police. What can you say about that being members of the public order unit and the forensics unit?
So it's a mixture of members of the public order unit who are trained to do these searches, and we've also implemented some cadets that are going to assist with that as well. And then as need be, the forensics unit will be involved.
You had mentioned at the outset or reference to the inspector's comment about, you know, Hamilton Police not ever really getting involved in something like this. Do you mind elaborating, being a bit more specific as to what you mean by that? That you know, you haven't searched through a landfill for you know, evidence of human remains. Is that what you mean?
Yes, this is, to my knowledge, the first time Hamilton Police have looked in a landfill of this size to try to locate a person. Okay, thank you very much, and we hope to update you as soon as we can.
Thank you.